AVP. For today's episode, probably one of the only episodes I have to put a big disclaimer before because we got Dr. Tony Huge as a special guest, and of course, Big Mo as always. And so, how you doing, Tony?
Oh,
How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing especially good, Antoine and Morgan, because I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah. So right now it's like in the morning, right? It's like 7 a.m. for you, 8 a.m., 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in Thailand, so 7 a.m. for me, 8 p.m. for you guys. Exact opposite
Yeah, that's
schedules. Yeah.
crazy. So
9:30 p.m. for me.
9:30 for because he's in Newfoundland right now.
Yeah, we have our own
Oh,
time zone.
wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy. So how did you end up in Thailand?
I traveled around the world when I was 30 years old on a very special type of tour, and fell in love with Thailand. But I didn't decide, okay, I'm going to live in Thailand. I thought, oh, wow, I need to see more of the world. So later, when I retired as a lawyer and had the opportunity to travel full time, then I went around the world. I kept stopping back in Thailand, and I found just the best value as far as what quality of life my money could get me, but prioritizing women and freedom and access to China suppliers.
So we could say you're some type of feminist.
A real feminist, a real
Real
feminist that loves femininity, not Western feminism. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, so you're a doctor, right? And I did a quick Google. So you're not a medical doctor, you're
Right.
a law doctor,
Doctor of law. Yeah. Which, I
doctor
mean,
of law.
I don't need to call myself doctor, but the problem is, I'm in the area of chemical biohacking, and people come to me when their doctor can't solve their problem. So I'm like a doctor. Yeah. Is that
Yeah,
what people
double
think of me
doctor.
and call me? But yeah, I don't represent myself as being a medical doctor to give medical advice.
Hmm. Yeah. So everything he says, take it. Talk to your health supervisor first. I guess is that what you're gonna
Yeah,
say?
exactly.
You're good with law. So let's say if I give a bunch of advice, somebody does something, hurts themselves. What should I say before ever talking ever again on the internet? If I want to make myself clear of any damage people could do to themselves.
None of this is medical, legal, or any other type of advice. Consult your doctor.
There you go. So there
Can
you
you
go.
just
You got the
say
warning, guys.
like for entertainment purposes only as well?
Yeah, and that is because the platforms like YouTube and such, they say, okay, if it's for entertainment, it's okay. But that's changed. Now, even if you do something for entertainment, if it crosses the narrative or, takes a position on a topic that the mainstream doesn't want to take, you can still get censored. So just saying for entertainment purposes isn't quite as helpful as it used to be.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
I'll ask you to
I
help
just
me.
said that because I remember like when I first started bodybuilding back like 2012, 2013, all my coaches would send me like my plans, and all the steroid lists would have for entertainment purposes only above it.
Oh, that's
I
good.
just always
Yeah.
thought that was funny. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna like work in court if something happens to me.
So what are some of the subjects or things you said that you like almost got you canceled or shadow banned, or is there any topics like you can't really talk about that you wish you could?
Yep. And it's a little bit different when it's on your channel and you're interviewing me. It can be a
Mhm.
lot more controversial than if I'm the one advocating it on a platform I control. So the way to get around it is to be on other people's podcasts.
Stop. I'm giving you a little break here to process this weird conversation that just started. And at the same time, I'm giving you a little ad because this podcast is made possible by Jack Factory. Jack Factory is a brand that separates from other brands because not only they have the highest quality ingredients, but they manage somehow to keep it affordable. So click the links in my description and check some supplements out. Like they have this crazy pre-workout called Wick Mode, inspired by John Wick. Yeah, it's a collab with John Wick himself. So that is pretty cool. And that's their higher stim pre-workout. So check it out if you have a tired on a leg day. That's will do the trick. So I guess let's get back to the weird podcast that's happening. So behold.
DNP was the first thing that got me censored, the extreme
Mm-hmm.
fat loss drug, because, of course, it can be dangerous if used improperly, but so can everything. and I was teaching people how to use it properly, publicly, on a large scale. Fast forward, just to give another example, and then promoting performance enhancing chemistry, especially in bodybuilding, like steroids, because most influencers and the platforms promote, negative discussion of steroids and side effects and reasons not to use it, which I think is really biased, which is hypocritical, which is not true. And I just like to tell people the truth, both good and bad. It's just that some chemistry has more good about it than bad, and the media wants you to know more bad than good. So then fast forward to, the pandemic, and I was talking about everything I said was true, 100%. Everything I said about the vaccine, about viruses in general, about this specific virus, about what medication can prevent it, cure it. Everything I said was 100% accurate, but they deplatformed me, delete me on every single platform for talking about it. And everything I said was factually true and later proven to be factually true. And I'll never get those channels back. So it's always for telling the truth about something that the mainstream doesn't want people to know in a way that has the potential to go viral and get enough attention to actually change the world. That's when the platforms see it as a threat.
Yeah. So let's say if you own somebody else's podcast, like for example, like if you say a bunch of shit on my podcast, would my channel be in trouble?
It depends how aggressive it is,
Yeah.
because you had Eichmann. You had some people talking during the pandemic, for example, that did get censored on even other channels, but that's because they were going really hardcore against the mainstream narrative. I will not go that hardcore. I'll just give other perspective, and I'll tell the truth. But no, I'm not gonna talk so aggressively like I think David Eichmann, or man, I forget the Alex Jones, these type of guys. They're so
Alex
aggressive
Jones.
with what they say.
Oh,
And everything they say is pretty almost accurate, most of it, but they're so
Sandy
aggressive
Hook,
about it.
except Sandy Hook.
Right. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but still a high percentage of accuracy. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Alex Jones, just a different character. So I don't know, what's he doing now? I guess he has his website, InfoWars.
All of us who get censored, we go to our own platforms, websites, Rumble, X, for example, are a lot less censored, but none of these have as much traffic as the mainstream platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, that's the thing, huh? That's the thing. So lately, what have you been working on lately? Any special like projects you've been working on?
For my private life is really strange and different. I live with 4 girlfriends, but then we usually have a 5th one over. So there's usually 5 girls in the house. And I've not been able to find my perfect woman. Traveled around the world. I don't know if it's possible. If I spent full time looking for my perfect woman, I'd probably find it. Instead, I figured, okay, let's get like a 7 and biohack her to be a 9. So I got a bunch of 7s. I biohacked them to be 9s. And I think this is a good approach. I think especially in today's day and age when, women in Western society have so much power and entitlement, they don't really try that hard to get men. They don't try to make themselves lean and beautiful as much. I mean, of course, you go to the gym, fitness girls. If in any specific niche, you can find one that really. But I just don't find a lot of women like really doing like what I do or what men do. It's usually like excellence every day in every way. And that's what I want. So I have to create them. So I found women that are compliant, and I biohack them with chemistry and lifestyle biohacking, all the Huberman stuff, plus all the Tony Huge chemical biohacking stuff. And it's an experiment as well, because I take cases that would be impossible. For example, Antoine, I know you dealt with addiction. Well, I'm in Pattaya, which is the red light capital of the world. There's more party in Pattaya than maybe the whole world combined. Really? And a lot of girls are alcoholics, and also social media's very addictive. So to try to break those addictions and get women into their true femininity and help them open up and realize their feminine potential, it takes a lot of work, biochemistry and lifestyle.
So wait, so if you live with like 4 other girls at the same time, do they get along most of the time, or there's like beef in between the girls to get your attention more? Are they all your girlfriends, or they're just roommates? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, they're all girlfriends. There's love with all of them, romantic. Well, each one, you could just take them by themselves and it would be a full normal girlfriend relationship. Put them all together and they sometimes they get along most of the time. They have to. I'm like the dad. I have to set the rules, the boundaries. I have to be the authority. I have to be very powerful in my masculinity, because if it slips for a moment, then it's chaos, just like running a nursery or something, and you're not telling the children what to do or keeping things clean. It could just be explosion. Yeah, the night before last, two of the girls fight with each other, and they're talking in Thai. I can't understand, but apparently it's really rude language. And so then I have to sit them down and I have to tell them no saying certain words, like you're not allowed to cuss at each other. If we're going to talk, we got to sit down and talk and have a logical conversation. Of course, this is dealing with women who are emotional. Women are always emotional, and that blocks logic sometimes. So I have to navigate that. Most people would navigate that through only lifestyle interventions, and I do it with chemistry also. And that's just one. I mean, I'm always experimenting on myself and others. So it's everything revolves around my life. And because I have to live it, I have to experiment. I have to see how it affects the people. So I'm also experimenting, at any given time with bodybuilders around me, with people doing weight loss, whether they're weightlifting or not weightlifting at all, and seeing how much weight loss we can get with zero exercise, zero dieting, stuff like that. So it's like I like taking challenging puzzles when I get a challenging puzzle. And I think maybe the rest of the world thinks this can't be solved with chemistry, and I solve it with chemistry.
So what I'm still like trying to understand, like, all the girls living together and just like getting along. And so they're all happy and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're way happier than they were before, because before, most of these women live a lifestyle of addiction and confusion, and they don't have a really good value system. They're confused by what life is supposed to be through social media. So, I mean, if I keep talking about it, it's going to sound like a cult.
So do you always have the same four girls, or do you switch them out, or like does one maybe get annoying or beef with the other girls too much, and you got to like switch her out for someone else?
Yeah, I have to switch them out sometimes. Like we got a new girl that was 19 years old, super cute, super fun. Like we have an epic time together, but she just, she wants to party. She's 19. And on the one hand, it's addiction. She's addicted to alcohol, and like she just has to drink and party and have loud music, which is most young people want this, right? If they can. They don't need to go to college and they're a hot girl. They can get away with just, partying and having fun and sex and alcohol. That could be their life. But I was trying to get her over to our lifestyle, which is more healthy fitness, trying to teach the women that there's things that we can do that are just as pleasurable, just as engaging, but instead of being destructive, they're constructive activities where we learn, we develop our body, we live longer instead of shorter. We're not going to get diseases instead of getting diseases. But the problem is also in this culture, and especially because it's a Buddhist philosophy, that's like their religion, but not exactly an original religion, they kind of live day by day. And they don't really think about the future that much until they're older, until the future's here and they realize, oh, I should have thought about my future. And then they start thinking about their future. So I try to teach them at a younger age, but they're not ready yet sometimes. So the 19-year-old, but then one of my girlfriends is 20 years old and she gets it. I don't know if she doesn't totally get it about the future, but she feels like, oh, wow, I'm living with Tony. I'm healthier. I'm losing fat. I'm happier. I'm more fulfilled. I don't have drama in my, okay. Because normally a girl's always going to have drama. It's like, what type of drama are they going to have? Even in a monogamous relationship, women will oftentimes cause drama. So there's always some level of drama, but in this controlled setting, I try to control the drama and try to put it in certain places. And I try to use the drama psychologically for the women to compete with each other for me, which increases their attraction for me and their perception of value for me.
So let's say, with that in mind, with the your four girlfriends, / roommate. So let's say, what's your daily routine look like? So today you got up, you got a podcast, obviously right now, and they were like sleeping on the bed in the room, and then you all get up, you eat breakfast, or they're still sleeping right now. Like, what's your day look like usually with your whole crowd?
I'm trying to develop my perfect day where I could write it down on paper and say, okay, at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and have the day have everything that I could ever want from the girls and with the girls and with my lifestyle and with my work production. But there's so many variables, and I still am trying to figure out what I like and what's possible with the women. It's like trying to put a very, very complicated puzzle together.
Mm-hmm.
My preference is usually I wake up with 2 out of the 4 girls that are with me full time in the bed, or sometimes three. So 4 of us in bed. And then breakfast is already, whoever's not sleeping with us is probably already up and making breakfast downstairs. And then my daughter also lives with me, so then play with my daughter. And I work all day just researching, making videos, coaching a few clients, and going to the gym, going to the sauna, getting massages. But all the while, I'm always working and researching on my phone because I'm obsessed with biohacking. Yeah. So it's like I go through this lifestyle, sort of like almost like a retirement lifestyle, living on the ocean and then going, we have a sauna at the house and gym and do that, or then go to the sauna and the gym. I really love sauna, and I do the gym because that's healthy, and I should, even if I'm not trying to get huge, I still need to do it for health. Mm-hmm. And then we go eat lots of different, in Thailand, there's lots of, they call mukata barbecue buffets. And the girls would just love and go spend 3 hours at the mukata every day if they could, because they love just sitting around eating and talking with each other. So yeah, then and little adventures. I live in a tourist town, Pattaya, so there's unlimited tourist stuff to do. So me and the girls will all go to various different tourist things and different cafes. We call like rainforest cafes, like a Starbucks, except for they build it like a forest. It's beautiful for taking pictures.
I've heard of those actually. I've heard of those rainforest cafes. So they have them in Thailand?
Yeah, like a nice little away. So I like to go there on my laptop and work, and then bring the girls, and the girls love to like explore and take pictures of each other, and and break off. Like 2 girls are better friends with than the other 2 girls. Like two of my girlfriends don't get along; they're always fighting. So I kind of like separate that, bring them together places, but then they kind of separate, and each one will take one of the other girls to hang out with, which is another benefit of having this situation, because then the girls have their friends built into the relationship. They get to hang out with me, and they get to hang out with their friends. And especially in this culture where they like different things than I do, and they speak a different language, they like to speak their own language with themselves and do stuff with themselves as well. And then I can focus on work.
So let's say you're going to the gym and you bring all 4, or you're going to the restaurant, all 4. So you're living in this city. I don't know how big it is, but do your neighbors and people like kind of look at you like, so there's this white guy from USA coming here, then he has like 4 girls with him. So do you get the most backlash from like other guys that are Thai, or other, whoever maybe their dads, or some friends that they have, or just your neighbors, or people just look at you weird, or it's pretty much people don't care because it's a big city or whatever?
People look at me very strange because like an example would be I'm at the sauna and I kiss one of my girlfriends, and then another girlfriend comes up and kisses me, and they're like, oh wow. So someone will say, oh, you have 2 girlfriends? I'm like, I have 4. The other 2 are in the sauna right now. And their just mind will be blown. And at first, I think most people think, and I put myself in their position to think what they think. They think, okay, he's got a lot of money. He's just got a bunch of girls he's paying for. There's probably no relationship. They're probably there only for the money. But then when you watch closely and you see that each one of these girls is actually more romantic, more loving, and more attentive to me than any of the guys' girlfriends who have 1 girlfriend, then it's like mind-blowing. People just like, they can't even understand how it's even possible. And I'm sure if there's like, they think negative things, they think positive things, but I'll tell you one thing for sure, they think about it and they watch it, because everywhere I go, everybody's staring at me. And it's mostly, I can see like curiosity and trying to watch what I do and what's going on and try to figure out the nature of the relationship. Yeah.
So I guess in America, it's not very common like that. And I guess maybe in Thailand either, because you say you get a lot of looks. But I know that in the Middle East, in their religion, they can have up to 4 wives. But the thing is, they're like kind of separate in different bedrooms and stuff. It's like you're living like kind of 4 different lives. But
right.
But you're kind of doing that. But it's like it's all one big relationship, everyone kind of thing.
In the Muslim and the Middle Eastern culture, because I've been to the Middle East enough times, I see one man walk around with 4 wives, very common, and he's not romantic with any of them. That's one big difference. He doesn't no public displays of affection.
No.
Whereas my girls are kind of all over me all the time, competing for attention and need a lot of attention. They do not also in those cultures have sex together. The man will go with one woman one night, one woman another night, but never together. Whereas I try to get everybody together. Sometimes it doesn't work because sometimes there's little fights or whatever. But usually I try to get multiple of the girls together each time so that one's not left out and so that my time is leveraged. So I'm satisfying more at one time. Plus it's much more challenging for me. And yeah, I'm trying to create a different, it's a lot of what I do implements things that I've learned from Muslim culture because I have Muslim friends that I see how their relationships are and I learn pieces from them that we didn't learn in Western society. But in Muslim culture in Middle East, it's totally normal. Man has 4 wives. It's just, of course you have 4 wives. If you can afford 4 wives, you have 4 wives. You have as many wives as you can afford. That's how it works. Yeah.
So so all these girlfriends you have, they don't like leave the house and go see another guy, you know, or did it happen before?
Yeah, this did happen. I'm Western guy and I want to give girls their freedom and their autonomy. And it turns out that was the wrong approach, that these women need to be controlled. And wow, that sounds bad to an American feminist, right? Because they're like, oh, women should not be controlled. You should not treat women like dogs, or women are people too, all this kind of stuff. But in these other cultures, it's like you go to another place, you're going to fail unless you adopt their culture. So I've adopted what parts of this culture make my lifestyle work. And then I try to adopt the best parts of every culture around the world. So I forgot the question because I get lost in my thought. Like when we're talking about this, I strategize in my head because this is a constant puzzle I'm trying to solve.
No, I know. That's why I like sometimes podcasts, because when I'm just speaking out loud, I'm actually like categorizing my thoughts as I speak. Yeah. So I get that. I was saying that what if just one wanders off and like sees another guy or something?
Yeah. Well, I had a girl that actually was my dream girl, perfect in every way. But the reason why is because she was strategically working to be my perfect girl. She had studied me and she knew everything I liked. She knew everything to say. She was, I think, coached by her female friend. And this was my perfect girl. And then I found out that she was lying. She was a lesbian. And what? I love lesbians. Lesbians are great. But I need them to be honest with me about that, because her heart and her love was with another girl, not with me. And she was a virgin. And I was so confused, like, how is this perfect 10, this unbelievably beautiful goddess that I would pay millions of dollars for, how is this goddess a virgin? And then I found out why later, because she's a lesbian. She had a lesbian girlfriend and she was trying this experiment.
Was she hustling you or something? Or
it was like 50-50. I think she was trying to see if she could actually be with a man. And because a man could give her so much more. Her girlfriend couldn't give her any kind of lifestyle, money, nothing. But they had love together. And so she was trying to see if she could have like the benefits of me, but also have the love from her lesbian girlfriend, which would have been fine. She asked if she could bring her lesbian girlfriend here to live with us and be with one of my other girlfriends. And at the time I thought, I didn't realize what it meant. I mean, that would have been it wouldn't have been okay. This would have been a situation where they would have plotted together to kill me and to steal my money. That's what would have happened.
What?
So glad. Yeah.
Did that happen
these things
too?
happen. No, but these things happen. They happen. Absolutely.
I mean, in the whole grand scheme of the old planet Earth, yeah, maybe people can plot with like 2 lesbians plot to kill a guy. It could happen, but that's pretty, it's a wild thing to say. Is that something that's on your mind sometimes?
Oh, well, get outside of America. It'll be a lot more common than you think. In America, women, they're programmed to work a normal corporate life and go to school and make money. In other countries, women understand their sexuality as their value, and they know that the biggest money they can make is maybe from a foreign man. And it happens all the time that, especially in Thailand, women will use their skills to convince a man to buy a house, put it in their name, have their Thai boyfriend kill the man, take the
There you
house,
go.
whatever, like all kinds of games. Like you have to be very careful outside of America
Whoa.
because you're playing a game outside of America that you're not equipped to play with, and you can't imagine what's in people's minds because they think so differently than us. Yeah.
So
So they
now
just,
let's.
she was cheating on me basically with the lesbian.
Okay.
And then after that, I said, oh, wow. And I caught her. I went to Philippines to visit her family to ask for marriage, basically. And something was really off. So I went to her house unannounced, and she opened the door, and there was her lesbian girlfriend. And I saw what was going on, and I knew. And anyways, the relationship fell apart there. It was like one of the roughest emotional experiences of my life to realize what was actually happening, how gullible I was. And, you fall in love with someone and you think it's one thing and you find out it's not. And then you're just crushed. And then you're like, can I ever really actually have this type of love and this perfect relationship again? Was it all a dream? I could only ever have this if it's a dream. It's not real. So I went through all of this psychological stuff. And then I came back to Thailand. And I said, how can I ever trust a woman again? I mean, this woman lived with me for 2 months and was the perfect girlfriend I ever had, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She never slipped up. How could someone be so good at acting? So then I said, all right, all the girls, I put the spyware on all their phones with permission, which is funny because I put the spyware on their phones and they didn't realize what I'd be able to see. And I don't like stalking women. It puts me in a negative place. It makes me worry about stuff I shouldn't worry about. I did it before when I was younger, and I said never again. But now here I was in this situation. I have to know the truth. So I found out, oh yeah, multiple of my girlfriends were cheating on me. Like they say they're going to go out with friends, they're with another man. And of course, in their mind, it's justified because like, oh, Tony's got all these women. I can do what I want on the side also. So then I found out they're all cheating, and I cut a couple girls out. I ended up keeping the one that was lying to me the most also. But I rewired her brain, and I completely did a personality makeover on her with chemistry and teaching her. And now she's an amazing girlfriend. So I did experience this. They do cheat. They will cheat in these cultures also. And plus in these countries, it's so easy to cheat. So much easier than America to cheat in these countries. And it's a culture. They do cheat and they don't think ahead. So they will cheat if they have the opportunity. And so now I have checked things in place and clear understanding. And of course, I monitor their phones. Now they have strict rules. I mean, I know it sounds bad to Western society, but now they have to ask permission to do anything, to go anywhere. And they have to update me. There's a lot of control, but it has to be that way. And actually, before Westerners think this is terrible, I'll say that the girls love me a lot more for it because to them, control is love. If you don't control them, you don't love them. I didn't know that. I thought that was opposite of love. I thought controlling them means you don't love and you don't trust them. But in this culture, control is love. And Muslim culture also.
Well, it's very different than how I see things, I guess. So it's pretty crazy. But I guess there's consent everywhere, so I guess it's fine, right? It's just in my head, I'm like, I know that people out there do that, but it's kind of very interesting to talk to someone who does it. But if they're consenting and all that stuff, it's probably normal. But you said earlier, like, let's say if they plot, and you gave an example of this boyfriend killing the guy, and so going more towards that subject now. So what's the craziest thing in Thailand that's very different from America as far as like the streets, dangers? Is there any gangs, and like is there some things you have to really be careful about more than, let's say, America?
I've never seen any crime in Thailand that poses a danger to anybody. It's crazy. I've never seen even theft. So I come from Sacramento, and if you go to South Sacramento, you're at risk of getting shot, and the people are very bad, very rough, and there's crime everywhere you look. And then I come to Thailand, and I'm like, there's no crime anywhere. How's this possible? And there's not even very many police. But it's because the culture is so respectful, and they care about what other people think. Asians in general care about what other people think a lot more than Americans. Americans almost want to be different, but Asians are always trying to conform to each other and not stand out and not get negative attention. That's a cultural thing. So in the end, there's not much crime. I don't see. There's some crime, and especially I'm in the red light capital of the world, but there's still very little dangerous crime. I feel extremely safe in Thailand, but other places outside of America, like Colombia, for example, which I love Colombia. I would love living in Colombia, but it's very dangerous. You're going to get robbed, kidnapped, beat up. Something's terrible is going to happen. But in Thailand, no, I never see this. Thailand, there's like almost no crime.
Except maybe if you were falling in love with a lesbian that maybe has a girlfriend that's a serial killer.
Your girlfriend is going to be your biggest danger by far. Yes, 100%. Jealous girlfriends, plotting, strategic girlfriends. Yeah.
So let's say, Big Mo, if you live in Thailand, would that ever be an option? If, like, let's say your girlfriend Chloe right now would be like, yeah, let's do that. Is this something you find you would do?
I think it would. I would definitely, be interested in attempting that. I think it might be hard to navigate for like a long period of time. That's why I asked Tony, like, if he has to switch girls out every now and then, because I feel like you can only satisfy multiple women for so long before like jealousy is going to kick in and those types of things. Those things are very natural to women, as we know, right? So, but I mean, the idea sounds brilliant, and that's a question I had. It's like when you're beginning these relationships, like how do you? I don't want to say rope these girls into it, but like how do you kind of convince them to be like, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend, but I have 3 other girlfriends, and all you guys got to get along, but it's going to be worth it.
Well, now it's easy. I found the best hack for this of all is I made one girl like the queen of the harem, and she's bisexual and she wants to have other girlfriends. So, for anybody who's monogamous that plans on seeing other women, getting a bisexual girlfriend is the hack, because she's going to be the one to bring other girls in. You don't even have to do it. And then you don't have to worry about the jealousy so much. So yeah, now, like, for example, yesterday I had a ex-girlfriend from 4 years ago who just moved back to town after staying with her family in Malaysia for 4 years. And she called me up and said, oh, I miss you. I want to see you. I'm in town. So I had her come to the sauna with 2 of my other girlfriends. And my girlfriend seduced her. My girlfriend brought her back. I didn't have to do anything. And it's important, because otherwise the ex-girlfriend who came to meet up would have been very cautious. Like, oh, I don't want to go, and your girlfriends are going to be jealous. Oh, what's going on? No, I tell my girlfriend, pal, hey, pal, this is my ex-girlfriend. If you like her, then we bring her back. And so she did the work for me. Yeah.
So let's say, like, there's a girl, another girl, a 5th one, that says, hey, I'd like to join your house, but I got 3 other girls and I got Ronald. Would Ronald be allowed to come into your harem?
Ronald is a man or a lady boy or what?
He's a man.
Oh, no, because there can only be one man in this harem. But, a lot of friends are swingers, and they prefer to have 2 men and 2 girls and swap. And this is very common. Like,
the swingers
people
club?
Don't talk about it. Yeah.
But did they swing a lot in Thailand too?
I mean, I have a lot of friends that are, because I think I attract.
They say they are just when they meet you. Yeah. I'm a swinger too. Let me trade a couple of yours.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that wouldn't work in the U.S., I think.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of different relationships and different lifestyles that you just never see because you're not exposed to it, because in your circle you don't do that, and the media censors a lot of stuff. But yeah, if you get around and you circulate, you see a lot of different types of relationships, and then you wonder, like, is American monogamy or Catholic approach to relationship, or is it really the best? Is it really optimal? Does it really best for male and masculinity and femininity? I don't know. It's different for every person, but I think it's good for people to see and experience all these different cultures, before choosing one. Oh, it's not mandatory. I mean, you can also follow what your parents did and what your culture is, and it works, and then it's all very clear, and you don't have to be confused, and you don't have to experiment, and you can focus on other things in life. But for me, it's like I reached the pinnacle of my business success. I reached the pinnacle of my physique as far as where I wanted it to be. I reached the pinnacle of all these different areas of my life. And it's like, okay, now let's focus on relationships and see how far I can push it. So it's like, get one girlfriend, train her, get another girlfriend, train her, and just keep leveling up, just like anything else. Like in bodybuilding, you could have stopped as getting your pro card and never competed as a pro. And you could have said, I'm satisfied with that. But with
Mm.
me, it's like, same thing like you keep pushing it to the limit, pushing it further and further, even if it's not healthy, but it's your passion and you want to be a champion. It's your expression. It gives you meaning and purpose. It gives you something to channel all your energy into. So I do that, not just with the relationship, with other things too, but it's like the relationship is the one that stands out as
Mm.
being the most obscure and interesting and sensational.
So you didn't think about that, you know, like let's say like you got the 4 girlfriends, and then they, you know, do stuff sometimes together. You never thought of having like the onlyfans.com/Tony Huge.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh,
You could
that
make
would
some
be
quick buck with that.
legendary.
I know. Why don't you
Yeah.
do that? Do that. Why not?
Uh,
Might as
well,
well at this point.
I push my parents' limit, to the max,
Oh, yeah. What did they think?
The parents. That's hilarious.
My parents don't agree with my lifestyle. They want me to have one wife and children and follow their culture. And they try to understand it, but they can't really understand it. They just kind of block it in their head. Like they just can't comprehend it, and they don't want to comprehend it. And every time they try, they just end up almost like vomiting, so against their values. So this is a case, and I'm not trying to do it to upset them. And I try to make up for it in other ways, but they're mostly concerned with my children. They're like, oh, children should not grow up in an environment with multiple moms and this, confusing relationships. Then the child's going to be confused. But I just have a completely different approach to raising children.
So
And
how many kids do you have?
3 daughters.
3 other. Where are they? One lives with you said?
One lives with me, and I think she's going to have the biggest advantage in life living with me. But then, unfortunately, my 9-year-old daughter is in the Philippines right now because the mom, who's American Filipino, she tried the harem relationship. She couldn't handle it. Her jealousy is off the charts. She's westernized. So her mission in life is to prevent my daughter from seeing my lifestyle, which means I don't get a lot of time with my daughter anymore. So that's the 9-year-old. And then I have a 1-year-old, and the Western baby mama number 1 toxicity carried over to baby mama number 3, and baby mama 3 tried to use my daughter to control me to be monogamous as well. And she doesn't want to be part of the harem. So she's out and taking care of her separately. And so I just have my 1 daughter living with me, but I want 3 children with 3 baby mamas. So now I'm working on having more children within this household so that all the women can take care of the children together, so they can all do stuff together. I just think it's really synergistic and leveraged.
You ever think like maybe like for like a 2 year you would give yourself a challenge to just having like no wife?
No wife, but still like dating a girlfriend, or no sex, or
Whatever, just living at your house. Because maybe then like you could say to your baby mama number 1 and 3, hey, look, I've been 1 year by myself, maybe like could see my kids more or something, and then you can see like you can outweigh like what's better, and then see you could make decisions with that. Because I just wonder in my head, I'm like, if I look at myself, because when I was addicted to drugs, there was like never enough for anything, but I had to cut myself off from everything, and then have a program that would like, but that's just me, right? Like everybody's different, and now I can actually have it's way more balanced in my opinion. Because me, I would not be able to do what you do, because I would just, especially where you live, that'd be like, Morgan, that would be the death of me over there. If I would go back. Thank God
I don't think I would do very good in Thailand either.
No,
buddy.
no, I have a wife now. 3 years with her. I have a baby on the way. Monogamous. You know what? I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that, and I'm glad I'm happy with that, because if I needed like more, it would be more trouble for me. So
yes.
I wonder if you give yourself a challenge, like Dr.Tony Huge is going. How do you call it? We don't even do anything.
Celibate.
The celibate program ebook.
I don't think
You
that's
could sell your celibate ebook.
I have this very
Could you
wise.
do it? If I had $100,000 right now, could you be celibate for a year, or more money if that's not enough?
To be celibate for a year, I would do it for $20 million. Yeah,
20 million? That's crazy.
Probably
And I would
wouldn't
have
do it for. I wouldn't do it for 5 billion. No.
we test your prolactin every day to make sure like it didn't bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I had this friend Clemens who said that all humans, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been looking at things through this lens. All humans are motivated primarily, but can be secondarily motivated by other things, primarily either by sexuality or intimacy, romance, or material things, or not just material things, but like acquiring things to make you feel safe, money, career, whatever. And then or also like how other people see you, or community, other people. So like sexuality, other people, or material things motivate you. And I'm curious, like when I say that, what jumps out as being what the motivation for you is?
Oh, in life, you mean?
Yeah, what gets you like excited and make
I think
motivated?
it's when I I I have a thing in my head I want to do a goal, and then I work hard at it, and then it comes out where I'm proud of myself at the end. Like things like that. And now I think having a family is gonna do that for me. But the bodybuilding does that at every prep. I'm doing that, right? It's like I have this thing
Yeah.
and I try to better myself and I always try to improve. And I just try to learn different things. And the thing is, I've always thought like, why am I living on this? Like, so I think the point sometimes of being on Earth is actually to live for the experience of living. It doesn't really
It
matter what it is.
Yeah. So it
But
sounds
for
like to me it's like the material, but not material like money. It's like self-preservation, self-development is your
yeah,
motivation. Yeah.
self development is a good one. It's a good way to say it. But honestly, it's like I could sit and think about it, and sometimes the more I think about it, the more I get confused. It's one of these things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like if you try to understand God with your
Yeah.
mortal brain, it's kind of hard.
But
I
good,
think
but
so.
good, because if you don't confuse yourself, then how do you know if you're being mindful? Because
No,
if
yeah,
you're just following what's been prescribed to you, it's not confusing. You can just follow the path, but you should spend times of confusion and spend 10 times thinking, am I real? What am I doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Is this the purpose of life? Am I fulfilling what it is I'm supposed to be fulfilling? Yeah. If you ask yourself those questions, then you can mindfully choose. Yeah, that's good.
yeah. I remember when I was partying a long time ago. That was actually 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Somebody asked me like, what's your dream in life?" And then in my head it said, "Change the world." And I was like, "That's a big fucking statement" in my head. But then I realized that if you're just nice to everyone you meet during the day, you might change the world for 0.0000001%, but you
Mhm.
change it for the better for that amount. So
Mhm.
we're changing the world whether we like it or not. It's like, are you changing it for the better or the worse? So when I said that in my head, it kind of stuck with me, and I think I just want to do the right thing because I used to like I used to know what the right thing was, but I didn't give a fuck. I would be like doing drugs, the fucking girls, this and that, selfish, self-centered, no discipline when I was partying, and just even for my own body, because I was pretty much like pedal to the metal, like in the red for like days, right? So it's like I didn't respect my own body. But now it's like the complete opposite. But
Mhm.
because I didn't know, I knew what was true back then, like what was my truth, but I didn't follow it because I didn't care. But now I know it, and I have the ability to pause and then make the right choice. And in my program, they call that God's will. But it can just like God can be good orderly direction, God. Is just the right path. Because in our heart, we all know what's right or what's wrong. If you're sane, right? But it's either like it's very hard to choose what's right sometimes. Very
Mhm.
hard. It was super hard for me. Sometimes it's still hard now. But if it's about drugs, for me, I know what the right answer is for me. 100%. I can't do anything. So now I think my one of my purpose in life is just to keep doing what is I feel is right. And since I've been doing that and not just thinking about what I want, but what is needs to be done for it to be true, things are starting like happening and to me, and it's just like I'm starting having more money. I'm having a family, and I get my first time homeowner. So I think for me, it's pretty clear that for my life to like expand and grow, I need to follow the truth of my heart. So that's like one
Yeah.
thing I got to
That's
do
what I was gonna
100%.
say,
So
too.
self-preservation and community then,
Yeah,
but
I
not
guess so.
sexuality anymore. Yeah.
If you like stay
Dude.
your path in life, there's almost like rewards that life gives you, right? If you just like do what you're supposed to do. Like for me, it's like, the more I further myself in business, the like better of a bodybuilder I become, things just become better for me. And like I identify it as it's happening. Like whether it's like I have a girlfriend, but like, more girls are attracted to me. I make more money. I get more respect from my peers. Like to me, that's what just gives me like satisfaction. And it just reminds me that I'm on the right track if these good things keep happening to me. Just if I keep doing what I know I should be doing. Right.
Yeah. So I guess you're saying that sexuality can drive some people. It used to if I do drugs right now, or if I did drugs back in the day, sex would be the first thing in my head. It would drive everything. It's like so I would not even control my life anymore. It would be like the sex drive and the drug combined with that towards that. So I was like that before, but I had to do like a bunch of rehabs and this and that. So now it's like I have to be careful with anything that's like instant gratification. For me, I have to be very careful. So yeah, of course I have a sex drive, but like it's just like it's something that I'm doing just with my wife,
Yeah.
And
Right.
now I understand why we're all doing that because, oh, look, another life has been created. That's why we're doing this. The drive is so strong that back in the day when there were tigers at the door, we still need to be horny enough to have sex to make babies. That's how strong the drive is. Now there's no more dangers. We have the same drive, or more
Yeah.
for some guys, right?
Yeah.
So I try to not let like sexuality drive my life anymore, and it's more like the intimacy of like just when I hold like my wife, I just feel like I feel something, and that's way better than anything that I could have done before. That was like kind of like heightened by chemicals and just craziness and wild parties and stuff. Because I did everything. So it's like the cool thing about that is that I did everything in the past. So now there's like I can't have a midlife crisis. The crisis already happened. Now it's a midlife chill.
Yeah.
you know. So, but man, if I was in your city and and with that type of lifestyle around me back like 10 years ago, ouch, I would be done. I'd probably be in jail or dead or something.
Yeah, it could ruin you. That's true. I mean, part of me thinks that every young man should travel the world and see some of these different cultures. And then part of me thinks that, if you see it and you like something too much, it might ruin you unless you can sustain it and you can handle it and you know how to handle it and navigate it. So I used to think that it's better for everybody to know everything and choose from everything. And now I think it's maybe better for a lot of people to just stay focused and disciplined on what they do and not get distracted. Yeah.
Well, I think the people who are gonna veer off and do some crazy stuff and obsess about some things is people that in the first place they had like, because I can relate, right? It's like there's that the void inside, and you're looking for things to fill it out. And if somebody is disciplined on one thing, if that fills their void, if they have one, that's good. But there's some people like whether they're gonna be in Thailand, China, Russia, Canada, America, they're gonna fucking lose their shit because they can't feel fulfilled, and they try to use something exterior, and then they find something that works for a quick moment, and then they will focus on that and kill themselves with that. That's what addiction is. So
Yeah, it's really your ability to look ahead into the future, because the addiction is like you're going to do something now that hurts your future. But if your vision and your desire for a better future is so strong, then you wouldn't sacrifice your future for now. Yeah.
Yeah, the key of success is what's his face? The strongman said that Kaz, what's his face? The Kazmaier, Bill Kazmaier. He sent me I bought a mug from his because he made his own coffee for a while, and he said the journey to success. No, the success is a journey of delayed gratification. So it's pretty much what bodybuilding is. It's like if you want to succeed in life, you gotta do a bunch of shit, a lot of shit for a long time that sucks right now, but that you'll reap later. And then at some point later will become now, and you get like a lot of cool shit, happening to you. So
What if
that's
you weren't a bodybuilder? What is the next best thing for you?
if I go back in time, I was into martial arts, I would have probably ended up like fighting in a cage or something. Yeah. So maybe it's better than a bodybuilder, less brain damage.
Yeah. Morgan, how about you? If not bodybuilding, then what's the focus?
Man, well, I think for me, like right now, because like I was a partier too for sure, and bodybuilding is what got me out of it. And it gave, like I really like the party. I used to party hard when I was younger, but I like bodybuilding like this much more, and that's why I went that direction. And for a long time, I cut like partying out of my life. Uh, More recently, like again, I'm not going to say I party all the time, but I go out like every now and then. Like if I'm in my off season or like in a health phase or something like that, like I know I'm okay to do it. So I think if I didn't have bodybuilding, I might be like more of like a have more of a social life and that kind of thing. But like Antoine, before I got into bodybuilding, I was heavily into martial arts and basketball, and I always said that I got away from karate. I did karate for 10 years at like a really high level, and I got away from that just before like the UFC and that kind of stuff got popular. And then I went into bodybuilding and like that did its thing. But I always thought like, man, if I just stuck with karate and didn't do the bodybuilding thing, maybe the UFC became more prevalent earlier. I could have definitely saw myself like going that direction, because MMA lifestyle is a lot like bodybuilding lifestyle, just the way those guys train and like have like a 8 to 12 week camp for a fight, like that kind of thing. So it's similar to that, like delayed gratification, right? Like you're putting in all this hard work for a long period of time. You got to cut down to make weight. Then you fight the fight, and like that's like your gratification, just like a bodybuilder as a show. So I'd probably do either a lot of partying or MMA.
So we all have this in common about the fighting arts. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and that's mostly for show. I wouldn't use that in an MMA fight. Maybe just a couple kicks or something. But that's funny, bodybuilding and martial arts. And I think that's great discipline. Martial arts taught me a lot of discipline. And then bodybuilding kept me healthy and focused on health and the future, and realizing everything I did, everything I ate, whether I stayed up late, whether I, treated my body well or not, affected bodybuilding. So, I did natural for so long. And as a natural, you need every edge you can get. So I treated my body with the absolute highest level of respect. And then later I started partying.
I got a question actually. So what's up with turkesterone? What is that?
Turkesterone, yep, a natural plant sterile that for in insects as well, uses hormones. And it has some anabolic effects that work through the estrogen receptor. Doesn't have a lot of great human studies on it. It has crazy, amazing anecdotal reports of people using it. There's some companies that were selling ones that may have been fake, and then now it's probably fixed. Now all the turkesterone is probably real. I'd say it's nowhere near as powerful as SARMs. It's nowhere near as powerful as steroids, obviously. But for a natural lifter who, is using creatine and BCAAs, I think there's no reason not to use it. It probably should use all of these things.
So let's say if turkesterone costs you $200 a month. Don't you think a natural guy would make more gains with buying $200 of steak a month?
Well, if they're already eating the steak and they add turkesterone on top, that's better. But
how many pounds of muscle?
If you have to choose between steak or turkesterone, I choose steak first. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the mistake a lot of kids are doing, maybe, because I know Greg Doucette was promoting the turkesterone a lot, and I was like, what is that even? Like, what is that? Turkesterone. It's like an insect hormone.
But you chose steak, which is like one of the most anabolic foods you could eat, So like if you said turkesterone versus white fish or chicken, I'd say turkesterone probably.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, assuming you have an adequate protein.
I got another question too. So you obviously have 4 girlfriends and you have a lot of sex, clearly. So besides like Cialis and Viagra, like, do you have any other like male enhancement techniques that like you go to that are kind of healthier than taking on like a ton of Cialis and Viagra all the time to like, keep up with your girlfriends?
Yeah, it's like you guys preparing for a bodybuilding show, and your goal is you got to have this physique on this day. And to get there, you need to take all this chemistry and do all this training and dieting to get there. Same thing. If I'm like, okay, I need to satisfy 4 women every day, I can't do it naturally. Just like you can't win Mr. Olympia or a professional bodybuilding competition naturally. You're going to need some chemical enhancement. You want to achieve results that are not possible natural, then you're going to have to take some things that are unnatural. So yeah, I take things on pretty much every pathway you can imagine. My hormones have to be balanced. I have to have high testosterone. My estrogen has to be in range, because if estrogen's not in range, then whether it's too high or too low, that impacts sex drive and performance. I'm on steroids most of the time, so my testicles shrink. So I have to do things to keep my testicles full and to keep semen production up. Plus, I want to have children, so I got to try and build fertility while I'm on cycle. My prolactin increases very easily, and I'm really sensitive to 19-nor steroids. So I got to constantly manage my prolactin, and I need a lower refractory period. I need to be able to climax more often. So I have to increase my dopamine and lower my prolactin. I increase dopamine at times when I can have more sex, and I try to moderate it at times when I don't need to have as much sex. I even have to make sure, for STDs, urinary tract infections, all these type of things, have protocols for all that. So yeah, it's extremely, extremely complicated and voluminous protocols to be able to do what I do. Not that every man needs to do it. Just like you have guys that have genetics that can, get pretty high in amateur bodybuilding without steroids, right? They have crazy genetics. The same thing. You got guys that have genetics or mindset that allows them to be very effective sexually without the chemistry, but I'm not that. Like for me, without the chemistry, sex once per day, climaxing once per day, but with the chemistry, okay, now I can satisfy 4 women. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I got some questions that will probably be well received from anybody who listens to this, especially guys. So you see, you have a lot of experience with like different products with like helping you with like sex and stuff. So let's say I got a question for if somebody can't get a boner, then you can name 3 things or products with that, and then after that I'll say it again. But like somebody can't come, he just never comes, and then the other person comes too quick, and then I'll think of something else. But let's start with the guy with no boner. What would be the
Focus
3
on
things?
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So first, hormones. Get your hormones checked. Maybe the most important thing. So testosterone, estrogen, and prolactin and DHT would be the 4 hormones that would affect erection quality the most. And Live Forever Health, liveforeverlab.com, then can get all the hormones tested and get prescriptions for the hormones and easily delivered and at-home testing to make sure hormones are optimized. And then once hormones are optimized, then move on to just blood flow with PDE5 inhibitors, which is sildenafil, vardenafil, and tadalafil, which is Cialis, Viagra, and Levitra, brand names. And I prefer sildenafil, which is the generic version of Viagra, and also Cialis, which the generic version is tadalafil. So I use those almost every day, just giving myself short breaks. And then, cardio and overall health and stretching affect erection quality a lot. And I should do more cardio. I make up for not doing cardio by taking more chemistry. But if someone had erection quality problems, I think the cardio is right up there with the chemistry as far as effectiveness. Yeah. So those would be the 3 things for erection quality. And then also, if I had to add a last one, it would be prolactin, lowering prolactin, increasing dopamine. And so the Parkinson's medications like pramipexole, cabergoline, selegiline, there's a whole bunch of different ones that increase dopamine, decrease prolactin. Any of those works. Cabergoline may be the most popular and well-known.
Popular one, yeah. Okay, that's good. So now let's say the guy is like, for some reason, I'm circumcised and I got a lot of callus on my dick. I can't come for an ever. So what's your advice for him?
So callous and being circumcised, being someone who is circumcised and losing sensitivity as a result.
Callous thing is a joke. I'm sure there's no callous dick out there. Yeah.
Okay, because then we'd treat the callus. Okay, so just lost sensitivity.
Yeah,
from
lost sensitivity.
circumcision.
Yeah, from
there's a lot of different options. There's devices you could wear to get your foreskin back that will stretch the skin back over the tip.
What? Really?
Yep. And
wow.
And also I had a gay friend who would wear a bathing suit all the time, and he was so horny all the time. And he said ever since he started wearing a bathing suit with no underwear, it made him so horny. And I tried this and I thought, oh, this is desensitizing the tip of my penis, because like the underwear, soft cotton underwear would give less stimulation than like the tip of your penis flopping around inside a bathing suit and losing sensitivity. But I actually wore a bathing suit with no underwear for a while, and actually my sex drive went way up, and it's really weird. And I'm not sure exactly what component of that, but so usually you want to resensitize the tip of the penis. And it's not like there's creams. Live Forever Lab also has creams you can put on your penis to resensitize your penis. So there's creams you could use like that. I think about this all the time. I think what I do to increase sensitivity is I use cannabis products. I increase oral.
Oh, okay.
And not smoking it doesn't work either. So edibles, and especially Delta 8 and THCP combined, the two different cannabinoids, increases sensitivity a lot. So I think you can, and also I think about, for myself, as we go through life and our different pathways degrade from aging, I want to upgrade my neurological pathway to upgrade my sensitivity so I can experience better sense of smell, better sight, better sensation, and better feeling, just more human experience. So I'm always trying to figure out, how do I upgrade my neurological system? And there's various different health supplements I take for that make me, more sensitive. So those are my approaches to the penis sensitivity and the circumcision. Yeah.
All right. So now we fixed up no bus Russ. So now let's talk about 2 Pump Chump. How is he gonna be able to last longer if he comes really quick?
Increasing serotonin. So serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs. It depends on the person, because that's not something you want to just jump into just for the sake of lasting longer in bed. But sometimes premature ejaculation could be a sign of a serotonin problem. So trying to add serotonin and see if that solves other problems, not besides just the premature ejaculation. Also, it's very common to put something topical that numbs the penis to make it a little bit less feeling. I worry that if you use something to numb, because I don't want to numb it, but some guys use something to numb it. Also, using condoms makes a little bit less sensation and be able to last a little bit longer. And then, self-control, of course, you just have to edge or come more often. Maybe someone who comes too fast, maybe they're coming once a day, once a week. And maybe if they did it more often, because I'll tell you, even just within one day, the first time I have sex, I can come very fast. And then as the day goes on, if I climax more and more, it gets harder and harder until eventually it becomes impossible to climax. So you could just do it more often. Going before a date, you could do a pre-wank, it's Something About Mary movie.
That's
right?
A classic. That's
Never
go
in with a loaded gun.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, let's say the fourth person is
kratom. Kratom probably
okay.
would be number one. Kratom would be number one, because then you're not messing with the serotonin pathway. I find the addiction to kratom very low. It is potentially addicting if abused, though. But kratom definitely makes you last longer, and it makes it feel good as well at the same time. And there's other recreational drugs that, of course, could do it. Yeah.
All right. So let's say the fourth guy comes to you man, I have 4 inches and I would like to get a longer penis with more girth. Is it possible, and how and why? And how?
Yeah, just like the muscles in our body, they grow. Calves are a good example. Calves, you're kind of stuck with what you have genetically. You can train them as hard as you want as a natural. They don't grow very much. But if you take insulin and growth hormone and IGF, and then you train calves, they grow. So you can kind of hijack your genetics. The penis is the same thing. It needs DHT. It needs androgenic hormones. Testosterone converts into DHT. So sometimes the reason why someone has a small penis is because they had low DHT through puberty, and sometimes you can give them a second puberty and give them steroids, and their whole body will mature, including their penis might grow if the cause of their small penis was a DHT deficiency. And then the penis, like any other body part, you can grow it through mechanical stimulation, jelqing, pumping, exercising it, pulling, stretching, whacking it, whatever, just abusing it. And then that damage plus the blood flow, and of course combining with Cialis or tadalafil, some kind of PDE5 inhibitor, push more blood flow into it, plus growth hormone, DHT, or androgenic steroids, and IGF. And yes, you can actually grow the penis. I did this experiment myself, and it works. Yeah.
So let's say, what's the best case you've seen of like somebody like, dude, I gained like X amount of inches. Like who do you know? Like, don't say who, but like, do you know any cases that happen?
My case, I gained a solid inch, and I don't have it at the inch anymore because just like bodybuilding, some of the growth is permanent.
It goes back smaller. All this
goes
work
back to where it was, plus a little bit. You know, like if you stop working out and you stop eating, you're going to shrink, but you're still going to maintain some, and you could still get back there faster.
Oh, like penis memory.
Yeah, penis muscle memory have also, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. There was this guy, he's German, Alex Killel, I think, on Instagram. I don't know if you know who he is, but I was browsing, and
yes,
for some reason, he was like saying that he had like exercises, like you stretch for 2 minutes, you fucking squish it with a roller on the table or something, and it's all crazy, like stuff like that, to like hoping to gain like an inch or something. It's like, is this what you're talking about, like stretches and all this stuff?
Yes, it works. But it's you got to do it 20 minutes twice a day. That's the protocol that I did that worked. And I'd say 20 minutes twice a day. 1 month later, you notice a pretty big difference.
Really?
But you have to not come. So you have to stretch it and work it for 20 minutes and not finish. Because if you finish, you're going to lose all the blood flow to it. You know, you need the blood flow. You need the blood flow to keep going to it all day to repair the damage that you're doing. If you come, you're going to lose all the blood flow unless you take a lot of, Viagra and Cialis enough to make up for it.
Can you use BFR bands on it?
Blood flow restriction bands. Well, that is what pumping is.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah, with the pump,
and you would pump, and then you would use a cock ring to keep the pump. And basically, yes, exactly. Right on point. See, you can see the similarities with growing muscle and growing the penis. There's a lot of similarities. It's still a human body.
Could you have scar tissue in it though, and like do injuries?
Yeah, Connor Murphy he was doing a series on growing his penis, and he was competing with me and Elon, and he wore a stretching device that, it grabs on and it pulls and it stretches, and you wear it around your waist like a belt. So it stretches the penis up and around like this, and you just wear
it. On the side?
Yeah. Like it's like this and pulling up and over to the side, or you can pull it down on your leg like a belt.
But how is it holding it just pinches it?
It's like a silicone sleeve, and you roll it down over like a condom that's really tight, and squeezes it and pulls it and stretches it, which also then pulls the foreskin over the tip, which also could help grow the foreskin. So I think it's valid. It works, but he wore it too tight, and he wore it too many hours per day, and he got blisters and calluses on his penis, permanent scars. Yeah.
Is he okay?
Mentally?
Yeah, like, cause he was doing all these like things with the girls and on the cameras, and then I think he went on like on a trip. And then because he was trying to explain what he saw and how he felt, and I understood what he meant. Even if I never went to this, I know what he meant, like we're all one and I'm God, whatever he was saying. Right? I get it, because it's like you kind of feel like you're a part of everything, and everything's a part of you that ever was and ever will be. But he kind of was talking about that on YouTube, and then it wasn't really like delivering well with the audience, I will say, and he was looking a little bit like crazy. So I was wondering if he came back from that.
Yeah, I'll tell you about this is Connor a second. This is Pal. This is one girl that actually I was gonna let Connor take her to help him build his harem at one time. But we both went a different direction, because I was going to break up with her, and I was like, okay, she's a really amazing girl, so Connor, maybe you should take her. We were negotiating that anyways, not that long ago. But anyways, I decided to keep her. But okay, back to Connor Murphy. Yeah. Connor Murphy did psychedelics. It blew his mind open. Yeah. He also, we all want our parents to be proud of us. Yeah. And Connor Murphy was the #1 fitness influencer in the world 9 years ago. He has 6 million subscribers across his YouTube channel. Mm. And when I travel the world with him, everywhere we go, like all the common people know Connor Murphy, because they're the ones that they watched his, walk up to girls on the street and show his abs, and they react to his abs and all that. So he's like a child star, like a child actor who
Yeah.
got super famous at age 18 and like doesn't even know what to do with that fame, doesn't know how to monetize it. It just, obviously he's never going to have a normal job or career or boss or anything like that. So it just kind of psychologically messes with you. And he also trying to get his parents' approval and pride. And then he reached like the pinnacle of his fitness influencing career. It's like, where do you go from there as far as what he was trying to do? And yeah, anytime you get there, you think like, okay, my goal was this, and then you get your goal, and then you're like, okay, now what is life? And then he does the psychedelics and it blows his mind open. But the main thing he got out of it was that everything and what he wants to teach people and why he acts so crazy is he's trying to teach people that everything in life is a spectrum, and that the biggest problem with humanity and the biggest limiting factor of us mentally, and therefore creating the material world we want, is our dichotomous thinking, always thinking something is either black or white or good or bad, and everything in life you have to see as a spectrum. But the problem is, like you said, Antoine, things get confusing. If you see things as black and white and you can just go through life saying, okay, do this, and you're doing what's right, there's only two choices. Now, if you have 1,000 choices and you don't know which one, there's not a right or wrong, there's just a spectrum. Life can get very confusing and the mind goes all over the place. And so that's what happens. Is it's a good thing he breaks down that dichotomy, but it also is very confusing to him as he's constantly questioning reality. And it would be hard for anybody. And most people, like, you can only see things as a spectrum for so long until you lose your mind, and you have to go back to black and white thinking. I think that's the way the human brain is wired. And I don't think everybody should be walking around thinking of everything on a spectrum, but I think we should challenge ourselves. And I think he's right. And I think what he's doing, the way he's approaching it, he's alienating a lot of people, and they think he's crazy, but there's some very deep wisdom to what he's saying and what he's doing. And I think he could probably approach it a different way, but there's also added the element of like trying to get his sort of like his parents' attention and approval. And then you have the really crazy stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't know what happened. Like, I kind of got the gist of it, but like I said, what he was saying was like, I know what he's saying, but I don't think he's saying to the right people, because like, it's kind of hard to like get everything that you saw and kind of felt, and then bring it out into the world with like the words created here on this earth. It's kind of hard to do that, and then people won't get that because they didn't feel or saw what you saw and felt. So I kind of felt bad, but hopefully he's he's doing well. I don't know what he's doing lately, but except you just told me he was stretching his penis too much.
Yeah.
Did he heal from that?
Yeah, he healed from that. So one more thing about what Connor's trying to do. You're right. If someone does a bunch of psychedelics, they'll understand. They'll be like, oh, wow, I get it. Right. But if they don't, can they ever really get it? Can you ever really explain it in a way that they can understand? Or are you wasting your time and alienating them? It's almost like you just need to guide people and open their mind to the world of spirituality and psychedelics, and then they're going to have to find it at their own time. Just my warning to the public would be, even if you feel very strongly about your beliefs and you feel like you need to impose them on other people, maybe don't do it, because maybe your beliefs are going to change someday, which is what happened to me. I was extremely anti-drugs before. I thought anybody who even used marijuana should be decapitated publicly to set an example of them. That's how anti-drugs I was. And now I'm extremely pro-drugs because I realized what I was doing as I was hurting humanity. I was hurting freedom, and now I'm fighting for the other side, drug advocacy with responsible usage. So that's I think that's what Connor is also doing, is that in the beginning he was advocating build your physique and the rest of your life will follow. You'll get women, you'll have everything you need. All you got to do is focus on your physique. And then when his mind got blown open, he's like, oh, he went the other extreme too. And he should have just maintained the character for his audience, for his 6 million subscriber audience, because what he was giving people was very valuable. What bodybuilders give people is very valuable. The inspiration is so important, so valuable. Inspiration is one of the most valuable things you can give someone. And he was giving people inspiration. You guys are giving people inspiration. That's valuable. And he just lost. He didn't see. He thought it was more valuable for him to teach people about dichotomous versus spectral thinking. But I think that what his he was the master of, and what he should have kept doing is he should have kept being the aspirational figure about health and fitness and his physique, and then started a separate thing and kept it totally separate, and then taught people about spirituality and reality.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. And let's say now the fifth person. Let's go back to penises. Now the fifth person, he comes to you. It's like, man, I got this giant black mamba. It's too big. What can I do?
Oh, I don't know how to shrink the penis. I mean, you could wear like a compression sleeve is probably what I would do.
Oh, really?
That's about it. Yeah, but I think you got to find bigger vaginas. Really.
Yeah.
It's all relative, right? There's plenty of girls that have really big vaginas and small. I've experienced more vaginas than most.
Spectrum.
And you know, there's
spectrum.
Yeah, there's some very deep ones. There's some very loose ones. There's some very shallow ones. There's some very tight ones. It's not fun. Everybody wants a bigger penis, but what if you fall in love with a girl with a very small vagina? It can stretch, but only so much, and it's a painful process. So I think you have to find the right partner that has the right size vagina and the right amount of sexual desire, needs, and because if you find a girl that has too much sexual needs and you can't satisfy it, that's not good. Or too little and she can't satisfy you, that's not good. So you got to find the vagina fits and the sexuality that fits. Yeah.
So if you would develop a dating app, what would be the things you would put in, like as far as the criteria as to like would you put like a length of the vagina and things like that, or not important?
Wow. I wish that you could actually sort and organize and filter by more than what is out there, because I would also like to filter, like, here's how much money I'm willing to spend on you per month. Not even like a prostitution thing, but just like, hey, I'm willing to like pay for dinners and pay for trips, but I'm not willing to pay for this. Like, let's clear this up right away. And then, wow. Yeah. How much sex the girl needs would be nice, but they're not gonna, I mean, it's hard to imagine a girl actually filling this out. Like, okay, I want you to spend $1,000 per month on me. I want to have sex one time per day. Like, I can't imagine a girl filling this out, but I can imagine a man filling this out.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So that's why there are services out there that aren't as well known that you pay a lot more money to, that filter women out a lot more. So you can pay $1,000 a month for a service that will find you a woman that fits your more specific criteria. But yeah, on the mainstream platforms, you can't filter by anything really awesome. You can filter by like height and weight and education level and like these things. Who cares? Like the things you really want to filter on, like, yeah, vagina size, or how many men they've been with, how much money per month they're going to cost. Like, these are the real filters we need in dating apps. Yeah.
You should have make your own. Like I said, you could call it not Tinder, not Grinder, maybe Tony, or you got to come up with a name. Doctor's app.
I like the way you think, but we're living in the matrix and with limitations. And if you try to get an app developed like this, they will not let it on iTunes Store. They will not let it on the Google Play Store. And people don't realize, like, you're thinking like, oh, why isn't there this, or there should be this, or this should be. And the more you think like that, no matter what attribute you're trying to enhance or the trying to thing you do, you will hit glass ceilings. You will hit glass walls. And the more glass walls you hit, like this one, like, why isn't there more filters on dating apps? Oh, because you can't, because the platforms would never allow it. And you can't really have an app off the platform because then you have to jailbreak your phone to use it. And, they're every time they update the iPhone, they prevent you from jailbreaking it to put apps they don't want you to have on there. But yeah, the glass ceiling that we hit and everything. So I hit this every day because I'm very creative and I prioritize freedom. There's not a day that goes by that I don't see 10 things where the matrix is limiting what I would want to do. And it's not something that's bad for society, but it's bad, not something that's bad for people, bad for humanity, but it's bad for the system.
Yeah.
So
that profits off us.
When you say the Matrix, is it like in the movie, or it's like Andrew Tate more?
Oh, they're the same thing. The movie is the most brilliant analogy or whatever depiction of what the Matrix is, in a way that can help people kind of understand the depth of it and how it works. But it's the same thing. They're talking about the same thing.
What does matrix mean? What does matrix mean?
Well,
It
it's a
means
common word, can mean a lot of things. But
mathematics or biology, even film and culture, computing, general use, any environment, structure, or medium within which something develops or is contained. So
yes,
it's like an environment that contains something, structures, mediums,
it's a
thoughts,
system
maybe.
that
Yeah.
contains and limits your human potential. Yeah.
Because I hear a lot, like you can hear that a lot lately. The Matrix. Oh, he's escaping the Matrix. Oh, he fought the Matrix. That's why he's like he got blocked or whatever, right? On the social medias.
Yeah, exactly
So,
like what I do with I talk about the chemistry openly, and the mainstream doesn't want people to know about this because the mainstream profits off of. I mean, I do talk about Viagra, but actually, even talking about sildenafil could get you censored if you push it too much because Pfizer owns the patent. Well, the patent's expired, but they still make huge money off of the brand name Viagra, and they still try to censor the fact that Viagra is just sildenafil branded. And it works. Like you go to a pharmacy, and even the people that work at, not the pharmacists, they'll know, but even the people that work at the pharmacy don't understand that sildenafil is the generic name of Viagra. And people that go to the pharmacy, they ask for Viagra, not sildenafil, and they want the brand name because it says Viagra, because they're programmed. They don't realize that they're paying 5 times the price for a branded product instead of the molecules, the same thing but the generic brand.
yeah,
And that's programming.
it is
Yeah,
programming.
it is. Yeah.
So, is there some type of like concoction that you maybe told people, well, suggested for academic purposes, people to do that you were like, actually, this was a bad idea. It doesn't, and when you talk about it, you kind of like pull it back and stuff, or situations similar to that.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't think of like what a mistake. I was like advocating something, and I thought this was right, and then it turned out it wasn't optimal and might be dangerous. Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I can't. That's a great question. I'm sure like I probably can't answer the question now, but I probably, as I go through like my supplements and things, something probably would come up. But that's a good question. Yeah, I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep
For the
that in
most
mind.
part, no, because for the most part, I experiment with something pretty heavily before I tell people that they should consider taking it, and I usually give all the disclaimers that go along with it. So I guess site enhancement. I used to site enhance a lot with injecting hyaluronic acid filler in my muscles, and it was amazing, right? Because you can bring up like you want the rear delt, right? So you want to make that rear delt pop. If you site enhance that rear delt, then wow, there's some places you can put site enhancement that's really freaking amazing, and there's other places like your upper chest where it's not so good because of the muscle type. So it's not that I was advocating it, but I was using it a lot, and a lot of people use it as a result, and I still get asked a lot about it, and I just think, oh, site enhancement. I mean, it's great for professional bodybuilding if you have a lagging body part that doesn't respond to anything else. But man, not so many like hobby bodybuilders need to be messing around with site enhancement.
Yeah, you've seen guys who never competed now at the gym sometimes, and I've met one at the gym in the U.S. and I was like, holy moly!
Was I there?
You were there.
Oh man,
Remember?
Worst case of synthol arms I've ever seen.
Oh, whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
So what did it look like? Was it like water balloons? Or
he was like a 20-year-old kid basically, and he was like kind of overweight, probably had a couple years in the gym, but yeah, his arms were just like big and like abnormally shaped and like soft and like watery looking.
Square shoulders.
Yeah.
Weird angles.
It was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
But see the reason why they can get away with it, and maybe he in his world he thinks that that's great, is because girls might not know the difference. If his mission is just to impress girls,
this guy has got no girls. Trust me.
This guy was not getting girls.
No.
He's trying. He's using this to try to get girls.
I think he was getting guys. I think he was he was being weird, but whatever.
Yeah, well, gay guys are the ones that stay in the most consistently stay in the best shape because they have to be attractive to other men. So yeah, maybe it's along those lines.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
How simple would it be to be gay?
Oh wow, yeah. You have gay friends? Do you have gay? You
Oh yeah,
must have
yeah,
gay friends.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
I have a lot of gay
yeah.
converts.
You do? Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
well,
crazy. I
I have
mean,
a
they
lot of
get
gay.
on.
Their world is crazy because like they'll have their husband, and then they'll have their like boyfriend, and then they all get together and like they do like they have big parties and like they all just like love each other. It
Sounds like
just seems
Tony's
like,
life.
huh?
Sounds like
There's
Tony's life.
there's a lot of similarities. The openness with the sexuality, the multiple partners, the group stuff. Yeah, it's actually. I see that with the gay guys. I'm like, why can't I have that with women? Because women's psychology is so different. But I try to recreate. I try to take all the benefits of what they do and have it within a heterosexual relationships. But yeah, they have Grinder. They can just go. They can just anywhere they are. They can just like go on Grinder and be like, hey, I'm at the Costco bathroom. Meet me at the bathroom. Boom, and they can bang in the Costco bathroom. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anywhere, anytime. Men are always horny, and there's unlimited men, and they have no need. They have no want for sex. They don't have to work for. I mean, unless of course if they're trying to get really attractive men, whatever. But oftentimes they're just trying to hook up, and for them, hooking up is so easy. It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I would like this. Because I was trying to picture in my head like Costco bathroom, who would show up. I'm like, I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to do that.
Well, Connor tried to turn himself gay because he thought logically, okay, if I'm gay,
Why?
then sexuality is going to be easy. I'll get what I want, whatever I need. I don't
He
have to
tried
chase
to turn
women.
himself gay. What did he do?
Yeah, he watched a lot of gay porn, and he was trying to like get himself excited and get his dopamine up. Now, I think I could have turned him gay, if not because I'm gay, but because of the chemistry. I think a lot of it has to do with chemistry. I think if you did enough psychedelics to blow your mind open, and then you did things to increase your dopamine to very high level when you're subjected to gay experiences, then I think you could reprogram your brain to be sexually attracted by different things. Yeah.
So you think trauma would help with that? Like some chemically induced trauma.
Yeah,
Some,
I mean, I think
yeah.
a lot of guys. Everybody's gay for different reasons. Maybe some is genetic. Maybe some. But I noticed like a lot more guys that are raised by their mom only are gay, single moms. And in Thailand that's very common. Like in Thailand, a kid knows they're gay when they're young. They go on hormones and they become a ladyboy, and like they know at age 8, 9, 10 they act like a girl in every possible way and they want to be a girl, and it's not that it's encouraged, but it's accepted here.
Hmm.
So there's that, but then there's also, I think, maybe boys that were forced into a sexual experience with a man, and then they are addicted to that, attracted to that, they associate sexuality with that, could also start that as their sexuality.
Yeah.
Either way, there's a biological, I have a saying, for every biological problem, there's a chemical solution. So your body you can build, and your mind you can build, and you can reroute pathways, and you can change what you like and what you don't like. It's all programmable through chemistry.
Hmm. Yeah, that's one way to see it. I don't know about all that stuff personally because I don't know enough about it, but it's pretty wild though. The human body and the human being is probably the most interesting animal on the planet Earth by far. There's so many different type of people doing all kinds of different shit. It's like very interesting to say the least. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, Tony, you have anything you want to promote before we hang up?
I get censored so much, so I really appreciate coming on here with you guys and sharing some of my perspectives on things. And I'm going to start writing down a lot more of my protocols, my underground biohacking protocols, chemistry biohacking protocols. And I'm going to publish them various different places, but I have a Telegram group that I can
Telegram
send you
group.
a link to, that I can publish some uncensored information there. And then I'll be, and then I'm on X, is uncensored as well.
So
And then there's
what
the
do people have to
Instagram.
type if they want to listen to more of your stuff? What did they have to type to go see you on X or whatever, or
Just
all that
search
stuff?
X on X Tony Huge, and then I can send you the link to my Telegram group as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for talking with us about all this crazy stuff. And obviously, I don't agree with everything you said, but dude, I really enjoyed talking to you. It's just very interesting to get different point of view. Well, I can't say I agree because I have a monogamous wife, so it's normal. But I think it's very interesting. I think people should live the way they want. If everybody's consent, I think it's they can do whatever they want as long as it's like it's not in front of me when I'm trying to eat my cereal or mowing my lawn and there's like an orgy in front of me. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
thanks for tuning in, and if you want to check him out on Instagram, all that stuff, Dr.
If-
Tony Huge. Yeah.
If next time, if you want to talk purely bodybuilding chemistry, I don't know how much you guys can talk about it and everything, but we should explore the previous mass blast experiments I did, where I give people who, some people are seasoned bodybuilders, but other people are very beginners, but I put them on a full cycle and see how fast their body can transform.
I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back on the IFBB podcast.
Awesome.
On that one, we can go crazy with that stuff.
Okay, good. Uncensored bodybuilding chemistry.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So if you want, we'll do one next week. If you want, Tony, on the other podcast. But for this one, I gotta go eat and stuff. So I really appreciate it, Morgan. Thanks for showing up. I know you enjoyed that conversation. So stay tuned for more. But what about testosterone? If you have low testosterone, you won't achieve your fitness goals easily, that's for sure. Low testosterone can reduce your mass and your strength, can also reduce your bone density and make you depressed and tired. So it's time to fix your testosterone level. Live Forever Health can fix that. They'll send you a home kit, you send the kit back, they get the result, go over the results with them. They will send you a legit prescription for testosterone in the mail and also send that testosterone in the mail. As a man, as you get older, it will go down, or if you're retired from competing and things like that, your testosterone levels will be low. You don't want that because you want all the gains, right? If you have low testosterone, it's not gonna happen. I've heard so much good thing about Live Forever Health, so that's why I'm supporting them and they're sponsoring my video right here. They could not make it easier. So what are you waiting for? Stop listening to the gym bros and start listening to some doctors. All right, take care of your health starting today.